Hey guys, and today I'm about to play some Sonic.
So that was little 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. He was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, and this is an emotional one. Since Gannon was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm actually wearing blue for Gannon. I believe it was his favorite color. That was Gannon's first video sometime before he went missing, but the day Gannon was reported missing was Monday, January 27th, 2020, out of Colorado. He was eventually found. His remains were found in a suitcase in Florida. Isn't it crazy all these suitcase cases we're seeing, these suitcase murders and stuff? Anyway, Gannon was found, his remains in a suitcase in Florida around noon on March 17th, 2020 by a construction worker.
Right now, an update on the murder investigation in the death of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. We have this new video out of Florida just into our newsroom. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office here in Colorado says remains believed to be those of Gannon have been found in Pace near Pensacola, Florida. He was reported missing in Colorado Springs back in January. Police arrested his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, earlier this month. This afternoon, prosecutors tacked on new charges, alleging the use of a firearm, knife, or sharp object in the murder. The El Paso County Sheriff is asking anyone who might have seen Letecia in Pace or Pensacola between February 3rd and the 5th to give them a call.
At that point, his wicked, evil stepmonster, Letecia Stauch, had already been arrested. I've done so many videos on this woman. I've dove so deeply into this case. And now finally, 3 years later, Gannon might be getting his justice. In the period of time before Letecia was arrested, she was pretty active on social media, proclaiming her innocence, coming up with 1,000,001 theories about what may have happened to Gannon. She even uploaded this disturbing video Sunday, January 26th, 2020. The night before Gannon disappeared, Letecia claimed he just walked away from the home and went to see some friend, but she couldn't name the friend. But it was a disturbing, distressing video where Gannon sounds like he's literally in pain. You can't see him. She must have intentionally not wanted to show viewers what he looked like because he was obviously hurt at that point. Supposedly, according to Letecia, and you can't believe her as far as you can pick her up and throw her. So she was claiming Gannon spilled some type of hot wax on the carpet or couch or something. But his stepmom's brutal punishment did not fit his alleged innocent crime.
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie when the TMZ information was
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose?
He did it.
Okay, you promise. You promise.
On purpose.
Pinky promise.
Pinky.
Okay, alright, so, listen. We're going to have to sell stuff to fix it, okay? So, we figure out what we got to sell. We can sell the sofa. We can sell whatever, because we got to get it fixed, old lady. Don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it?
We don't know what really happened prior to Letecia filming that weird video at 6627 Mandan Drive in Colorado Springs, Colorado. But as soon as true crime followers in the Facebook groups saw that she had posted that video, they started screen recording. Different people got different versions or different lengths of the video. Some people caught the front end, some people caught kind of like the back end, but at least one version of the video appeared to pick up Gannon saying, "I'm bleeding" at the end. Now that video would not be the first time that Letecia told on herself through photos and videos.
It would be nice to have an overpass for 501.
Letecia took a final video of Gannon sleeping in bed on Monday, January 27th, 2020 at 8:13 a.m. That sad, melancholy, eerie photo ended up in the arrest affidavit. We don't even know if Gannon was still alive at that point or not. If he was, he wouldn't be shortly thereafter. Cops think that Gannon was shot and all these other means of death happened to the little boy. and was likely removed from the home in a suitcase. Letecia, meanwhile, claimed that Gannon had just walked away from the home around 3 or 3:30, and he went to see a friend, and she didn't know who he went to see. Letecia had posted other Facebook videos, like one of Gannon waving goodbye and jumping in the water off a pier. That was another telltale sign, because eventually Gannon would be recovered near water in a suitcase under the Escambia Bridge. So she was telling on herself. All these things that Letecia did to try and defend herself made her look even more guilty. Now, it's not clear if it's actually Gannon's voice captured on the tail end of that video saying, "I'm bleeding." I believe it probably likely is. Unfortunately, everyone had just screen recorded that video that Letecia had posted. No one that I could find had actually downloaded the video, those who were Facebook friends with her, so we could get a clean version of the video just in its entirety as it is. You guys who might screen record off your iPhone might know that you can either have your own mic on or not. So you could screen record something and you're picking up the audio of the video playing on your screen, but you're also picking up the audio of your household or whatever's going on around you too. Hopefully, praying in Jesus' name, we'll have the answers, because Letecia Stauch's trial is scheduled to begin Monday, March 20th, 2023, more than 3 long years after Gannon was found. And we'll get to see it via WebEx, and so the link is below, check there. I should be able to do future videos and updates about Letecia's trial. Normally, on the court website in El Paso, it says making any video or audio recordings of WebEx court proceedings is strictly prohibited. However, thank God, on March 1st, 2023, we got this order. We got an order directly from the judge authorizing expanded media coverage. And that states that, quote, any observer of the webinar may capture any video or audio of the proceedings and is authorized to rebroadcast them with 2 exceptions. 1, there shall be no audio or video capture of bench conferences. So if the lawyers go up there and huddle with the judge and they're blah, 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 blah talking, we can't rebroadcast that. 2, there shall be no capture of any video of any juror's face. Those are the rules. Sound good to me. Yeah, you don't want the jurors publicized and rebroadcast. We don't want them rebroadcast, the jurors, publicized and stuff. So everyone, please play nicely, everyone, so we can all see Gannon get his justice. But you can look forward to plenty of Letecia's antics being on display for the whole world to see in her trial, starting with the wonky interview that Letecia gave Spencer Wilson with her back to the camera on January 31st, 2020. That interview has a tidal wave of red flags, starting with her not wanting to face the camera and Letecia calling her daughter Harley over midway to try and get her to corroborate her story. Eerily, we realize now Gannon may have been right there in a suitcase in one of the vehicles in the caravan right off camera. You can see a bit of the white van on camera. Or, like Spencer Wilson says, according to the affidavit, Letecia may have left that interview and went and placed Gannon somewhere, or checked on where she may have placed him temporarily prior to taking him all the way to Florida.
Brandon Hyatt, Gannon's mom, and I encourage you guys, I know many of you mothers and fathers, I encourage you just to find him. I'm so thankful for all the outpouring help that this case has brought. My son is a very loving kid.
Okay, that will conclude the press conference.
We've been hearing that the stepmother may have not been fully cooperating with law enforcement. Can you talk about that?
Appreciate that question, sir. At this point in time, we're conducting multiple interviews, and what I can tell you is that each lead that we have is exhausted. Excuse me.
I am Letecia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case, I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. 2, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and then during the investigation I was told I wasn't complying. And could I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying, or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time, correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was 2 really good detectives, and so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives, they're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that that I needed help with, and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have, and see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye, because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun, and my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse.
Yes, apparently 17-year-olds can serve in the Air Force, so that's not a lie.
So they could take her car.
And they weren't in there?
They weren't even in her car, I mean in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officer?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got to, like, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping, because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County, can I please get this, instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check her shot. Doing great. I want to make sure that we're still got a recording, still can hear you okay. Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while my mic will fade out. I want to make sure that's not going to happen here. Okay. I should try and clarify here, not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes, wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead, and that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon, and that's the main goal that we all have, my family has. Just because you haven't seen us we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this, but is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike, and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. If she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to ask her.
That's fine.
Sound okay so far?
Yes. I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work, and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in-depth because she is still, you know, a child, but I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work, and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home?
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
What a name, huh? Garden of the Gods. It's confusing because from this interview, some people assumed that T and her daughter and Gannon went hiking together and went to Burger King. But now she just went with her daughter through the Burger King drive-thru. It's still not clear. The story has changed, and Gannon supposedly walked to a friend Jimmy's house.
Okay. I guess when...
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm going to go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
That's right.
We could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope. Am I on camera now?
You are still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me, it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher, and they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, you know, or any of those things, and it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, you know. And
do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
It definitely is. And you know, here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, like, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we just should not. We should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Mom, and I encourage you guys, I know many of you mothers and fathers, I encourage you just to seek, find him. I'm so thankful for all the outpouring help that this case has brought. My son is a very loving kid. He wouldn't want harm on anybody at all. And it's so hard to just think, why is this happening to him? I have no clue, but my kid deserves to come home. My kid has a purpose. My kid has a life. And it's important to me. And it's important to everybody that's standing in this room. Gannon, Bubba, little man, mommy's hero, wherever you're at, mommy and daddy's here. And we're begging and pleading for you to come home. I know that's your biggest wish, is to see mommy and daddy standing here. We're here, Bubba. We're here for you, and I can't wait till you're found, because I have hope that you are going to be found. You are my hero. You are the reason why I have life. He's so special to me. I don't think many people can understand. My child was a 1 pound, 6 ounce baby. He had a 10% chance of survival. If he survived, he would be profoundly disabled. None of that is accurate. He's gifted and talented. Do anything for anybody. So I'm begging, I'm pleading, if anybody has any type of lead, put yourself in my situation. Ask yourself, what would you do? My Savior is a great Savior. And I know I have hope that my son's going to be here. I'm thankful for the churches, from this community, from Albert's military, family, everybody, the detectives. It was you that was sitting at the table, and you told me that 90% success rate, and you told me that I'm going to find Gannon. I believe that. It's the first time I had hope since I got that call on Monday. I have hope. So please have hope with me. I'm begging. Bring my baby home. Bubba, I love you. Mommy loves you so much. Nova loves you. Lena loves you. This room is filled with people that love you, and this community loves you too. So please come home, baby. Please come home.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Lane had said, that what an incredible community we have. I mean, everybody in here in a team, incredible team that, yeah, I came out my front door, I think it was Tuesday, and there was 300 people out there searching my neighborhood. It blew me away. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Again, and Daddy loves you so much. Please come home.
Okay, that will conclude the press conference.
At the time of Letecia's arrest, I literally saw the devil in that woman's eyes. They were rolling all over the place, all weird on video. I'll try and place it nearby. It's just so creepy. It made my blood run cold. But I know the blood of Jesus is stronger than any evil, so it can overcome. Gannon can get his justice. Letecia had coached her bio daughter Harley on what to say during the interview with Spencer Wilson, but the evidence began to unfold and stack against Letecia as days went by. Letecia had a neighbor back in Colorado, a hero named Roderick Drayton. He viewed more than 100 video clips on his surveillance security system just to find footage of Letecia getting into her vehicle on the day in question, and Gannon, who appeared to walk so slowly and be in tremendous pain, something he dropped, I think he picked it up, it might have been his Switch. A Nintendo Switch played prominently into this story as well. Letecia also went off to Petco. She made all these different stops and errands.
Jeremy and Aristea, the evidence comes from a neighbor's surveillance camera up down. Neighbor Roderick Drayton's doing some investigations of his own.
Couldn't sleep, so I just stayed up and just kept looking through. I looked through it on my tablet. Then I said, let me come look on the TV to make sure. First thing in the morning I got up, I went and showed Gannon's father, and then they called investigators.
What did Gannon's father say? What was his reaction?
He just broke down crying.
Drayton says detectives were moved by the footage too.
They came right away.
Wow. Did they say anything?
Just the break they needed.
Letecia gets out and Gannon does not get out. So this is why it's very confusing. And then I spoke to him, Vinny, actually before we went on the air to confirm all of this. Roderick Drayton, the neighbor, and there's one house in between his house and the Stauches. He is saying to me that he watched this video 30 times, and he watched it with the FBI, and he is certain that he never saw Gannon get out of the truck. Now, I want you to keep in mind that at some point he had turned over his password to the surveillance video, all of that video to the FBI, and he didn't really look after 219. So I think that is what we're waiting for, is to find out, did the FBI find anything on that video after 2:19 p.m. that implicates Letecia Stauch even further?
Yeah, Ted, this was again a little bit of an inconsistency. At the time when this video was first released, everyone thought, okay, this is it. So she drives somewhere and he is gone. But now they're saying the time of death is after he returns, yet he's not really seen on that video.
Yeah, so obviously authorities know more than we do, right? So she must have left, came back without him. Where was he at that point, and when did he come back in? Because they believe he was killed in the house, and the physical evidence seems to support that. A lot of questions, and you wonder if, in a twist, when we get to trial, if the defense is going to try to use this video to their advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a listen to a little bit of what Roderick Drayton told Asima earlier today.
So I started looking and looking. I stayed up half the night just looking and looking and looking from frame to frame to frame to frame until I saw Sunday. The kids were outside playing. She picked them up. I could hear her tell Gannon, you get on this side, Lamb, you get on the other side. And they drove away, and I watched them. They came back. He got out of the car. He took off running to the house. And so that Monday I saw him. I saw her walk to the truck, back up. And then I saw Gannon come out the house, and I was like, man, he doesn't look right. He doesn't like he did Sunday, because Sunday he was running and playing, and he looked like he was struggling. Like I said, like he was drugged or something, because he just could barely move. He got in the truck, and they left. So I just kind of went through the videos to see what time they came back. So when they came back, saw she get out of the truck. I could hear her lock the door when she got out of the truck, and I could hear the garage door opening. So she got out, she locked the truck, and went in the house.
State doesn't have to get boxed in on a timeline, and that can be something tricky for prosecutors. They don't have to nail his death down to an exact second. They know, and they have a mountain of evidence showing this beautiful little boy died on January 27th. That's really all they need to do.
So when I came home from work and I looked over there, she was smiling. She was actually acting like she was at a barbecue. Because I was like, that's very strange. My son's missing. I'm over here acting like we're having a party, because a lot of people came to the neighborhood to offer to look for Gannon, and she was out there smiling, and she was just enjoying the company and was just too relaxed, not like a parent that was missing their child.
On January 28th, Roderick and Tamika go over to the Stauch's house, like outside, everybody's hanging out, and Roderick, they don't know each other very well, but he says to Letecia, hey, my cameras can capture your home. Do you want me to look through my cameras? And she says no. And then Tamika said how she observed, because I said, what was her demeanor like? And Tamika from the side of the camera said, I need to, tell Seema what I observed. And this is 24 hours after the child is gone.
My son was missing, my stepson. I wouldn't be joking around. I would be freaking out, asking everybody for help. It doesn't look good, and jurors absolutely hold it against them.
Paying for a fake polygraph test. Your child goes missing because he doesn't come home from a friend's house, and you're so concerned, but you got to go pay for the fake polygraph to show that you didn't do it. If I'm the prosecutor, I'm going to hammer home those two words, inappropriate reaction, for this jury all day long, Vinny.
Letecia was married to a man named Al Stauch. He was a military guy. He's Gannon's biological dad. Now, there was also Gannon's biological mom, Landon Bullard Hyatt. Now, his dad, Al, cried when he saw the neighbor's video footage, saying it was the break he needed in the case. Landon, meanwhile, had written that Letecia had fought for her kids for 5 years, and Landon isn't some addict like Letecia was claiming. Letecia just kept the public wrapped with all her antics throughout all the months of this case. Finally, when she was taken into custody on the East Coast, she tried to escape custody. When she was being transported back to Colorado, she even allegedly injured a deputy. Along the way, she slipped her handcuffs, causing a stop in Kansas for her to be. Different people were hospitalized. We don't have a lot of info about that case. And if I'm not mistaken, those charges may have been dropped in lieu of the murder case she's facing, much more important, of course. When she was finally back in Colorado and she was in prison, she started writing all these crazy letters. They caught her hatching an escape plan where she was going to use a broom or something to slither out a window. She had measured herself to make sure she would fit through the window. She claimed she was being poisoned via her peanut butter. She blamed a black guy named Quincy Brown and another guy named Eduardo for her alleged crimes. Ultimately, Al divorced Letecia, or T, as one of her 39 aliases go. We also got to learn about Letecia's Google searches. They would be revealed, including stuff like find a guy without kids. That's what she was searching around 2020 when taking care of, or not taking care of, little Gannon. She also Googled stuff like sent my husband sexual messages and he ignored them. Letecia was obviously on the hunt for a new husband. She didn't want her life. I've done some really deep dives into her case. My goodness. Unfortunately, most of my backlog of those videos has been deleted off of YouTube, but thank God they're over on Spotify video. So if you want to peruse the history before her court case begins and all that, check the link below to my Plunder, Paula Mooney Spotify video link. Gannon even has a beautiful sister who sat with her parents during interviews, begging for Gannon to be found. So now that he's found, now that Letecia can stand trial, now that all her antics, if I went into all of her antics over all of this past 3 years, it would feel like a 10-episode Netflix series. But suffice it to say, I did do a deep dive into her past as well. Growing up, maybe why she might act the way she does. Of course, no excuses for anything she's done, but we still pray for the truth to be revealed. Hopefully in court, they will take their time and a jury will get to see some of these things that we've seen over the years, and we'll get to see stuff we didn't even know was truth, because trying to sort out Letecia's lies, boy, that's a job and a half. But finally, the day is here. So let's watch and pray and look forward to updates so we can see what happens with Letecia's trial and others. There seem to be quite a few trials starting this week. I'll do as many updates as I can to keep you posted. Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. And I wish Letecia could have just had more self-control in her role taking care of Gannon. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned.